Ready? Start. Now, the pulses-based mixed crop system in natural farming is the best method, which along with easy nutrition providing system is capable of keeping the soil soft and airy and also maintains its fertility and health. In this system, due to moisture in soil, the consumption of groundwater is also reduced to half the required amount. In addition, this method is fully capable of coping with the effects of changes in weather. Indeed, the Indian agricultural system based on electoral Vedic tradition is fully developed in philosophical, scientific and practical terms. In it, all the natural laws have been followed which ensure sustenance of all the organisms. The food derived from this method provides satiation to not only the physical form of human being but also to its subtle form, that is the mind and the soil. Conventional farming system would reduce the subsidy given in the name of fertilizers and food security and thus reduce the fiscal deficit. This will further reduce the expenditure on health and SSC agriculture of Sahara is a well-educated and enlightened farmer. He has reduced the cost of farming to half. He has increased the fertility of soil and reduced the consumption of water to half. He has adopted crop planning, that is, which crop is to be sown in what acres of land. He has also opted for intercropping, that is, mixed crop farming, which along with the production of many crops has also reduced the risk of farming. He has also increased the yield per hectare to 1.5 times more as compared to the normal yield. Another outstanding fact is that he also provides training to the farmers around them. Certain things are very important for any governance system. It should ensure people's participation in all decisions affecting the common man. It should follow a top-down approach for fixing accountability and a bottom-up approach while distributing the national resources and fruits of the development. We have to think about the all-round development of farmers and agriculture by placing our farmers at the center. For doubling the income of the farmer at the center. For doubling the income of the farmers at the center. For doubling the income of the farmers, if the attention is given to develop the whole country as a large market system, then we will repeat the same mistake which happened during the Green Revolution. The benefits of Green Revolution were passed on to industries, large businesses, houses of agriculture sector and big farmers in this sequence, which resulted in end of crop diversification and increase in monocropping pattern. This has greatly reduced the quality of food of common Indian people. The hurry of converting the entire country a big market at the outset will take us in this direction. It should be kept in mind that our system should develop not from top to bottom, but from the bottom upwards. It should begin from the village and then the village aggregate by making towns as center point, followed by district, then the province, and finally the system of the country should be developed above it. Strong villages only can make a strong nation. If the system of the village remains undeveloped, then the nation system will exploit it. We have to develop agriculture system in such a way that our most skilled and talented people can also get a glimpse of good, natural and prosperous life. Agriculture should become a glorious business again and farmers earn respect in society as it was before. The concept of evergreen revolution is indeed a sequel to the Green Revolution of the 1960s, which made the country self-sufficient in food grains and ended its precarious dependence on food aid and grain imports. Triggered by the use of high-yielding crop varieties which required liberal use of water, fertilizers, and plant protection chemicals, this revolution did not prove an unmixed blessing. It also caused some distortions in the cropping pattern and led to some unwarranted ecological ramifications in terms of degradation of natural resources like soil and water and emergence of new kinds of pests, diseases and weeds. However, thanks to its gains outweighing the adverse consequences, a need is being urgently felt to perpetuate it as an everlasting or evergreen revolution, but without its harmful upshots. The prime objective of transforming the Green Revolution into an evergreen revolution, therefore, is to expand it to all crops and all regions with minimum unhealthy consequences. एग्रीकल्चर एक्सरसाइज नंबर 5 100 की स्पीड है. एटी पे लिखेंगे. Ready? Start. This kind of an environment-friendly and natural resources compatible evergreen revolution covering all gamuts of agriculture and its allied fields and spanning all across the country is deemed imperative for several other pressing reasons as well. Despite the spectacular advances in the production and per hectare yields of some crops, the overall productivity of Indian agriculture still remains low compared to that in many other agriculturally advanced countries. Besides, reliance of the Indian agriculture on the monsoon is still quite high. The capability of this sector to withstand the climate change induced more frequent extreme weather events and natural disasters remains fairly meager. The scope for expanding cropland has dried up. Land holdings are getting smaller and fragmented. adversely affecting the viability of farming. Agricultural marketing continues to suffer from some formidable disabilities. The marketing network is neither adequate nor efficient to ensure reasonable returns to farmers for their produce. Moreover, rural labor is turning scarce and costly. The combination of all these factors is causing agrarian distress, which is reflected in farmers' suicides and widespread rural unrest that at times tends even to turn violent. The Green Revolution should therefore be treated as incomplete unless it becomes an all-round and all-encompassing evergreen revolution that leads to copious production and rural prosperity. This will require simultaneous action on several fronts and not remain confined to a few commodities. The noted agricultural scientist Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who spearheaded the advent of the Green Revolution, was also the first to sound the note of caution about the adverse, even if inadvertent, fallout of the exhausted high-yielding crop production technology. He also voiced the need for transforming it into the ecologically sound and sustainable evergreen revolution. In his presidential address to the Indian Science Congress way back in 1968, Dr. Swaminathan warned against practicing exploitative agriculture for short-term gains. He specifically mentioned the harmful consequences of excessive application of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and groundwater irrigation without adequate drainage on the physical and chemical health of the soils. He suggested adherence to scientific principles of soil and plant health management in order to perpetuate the benefits of the enhanced productivity over the longer run. The need, therefore, is to produce more from less land and with less water and less cost-intensive inputs. Such an approach is considered essential to preserve not only the livelihood security of the large agriculture-dependent population, but also ecological security to sustain the Green Revolution. Dr. Swaminathan's recipe for the Evergreen Revolution therefore boils down to perpetuating the increase in land and crop productivity without causing any ecological harm. The Prime Minister has also been stressing the need for an evergreen revolution instead of using the terms like first green revolution and the second green revolution. He misses no opportunity to elaborate his concept of the evergreen revolution, which is focused sharply on producing more from less land and with lower use of water and at reduced overall costs. This may be possible by integrating traditional systems of farming with the modern and scientific ways of agriculture. The use of chemical fertilizers should be strictly need-based as determined by the requirement of the crop and land fertility. Supplementing the fertilizers with organic manures would help safeguard soils' physical, chemical as well as microbial health. More crop per drop is his mantra for the evergreen revolution. He also intends to expand the concept of food security to nutrition security to tackle the menace of malnutrition. One of our PM's suggestions that merit special consideration relates to creation of agriculture clusters on the pattern of the industrial clusters. Different areas could be identified for growing particular crops suited to the agroclimate conditions. This would help in streamlining transportation, storage and processing facilities for different crops, taking care of their specific needs. The official think tank, the Niti Aayog, has taken due note of the fact that the farm sector has, by and large, been sidestepped in the process of economic reforms that began in 1991. To address this lapse, the Aayog is working ceaselessly on crafting strategies for raising the farmers' income through evergreen revolution. It is regularly coming out with ideas which can help the government to reform and transform agriculture into a sustainable and lucrative business occupation that can contribute to the country's overall economic development. The principal goal of the recipes being suggested by the Aayog from time to time through policy briefs, working papers and other documents is to restore profitability of agriculture as a prerequisite to an evergreen revolution. The Niti Aayog has therefore put forth a multi-pronged agenda for agricultural development. It involves increasing productivity of crops, boosting production of livestock, enhancing input use efficiency to reduce costs, increasing crop intensity by taking more crops from the same piece of land and with the most economical use of water, judicious use of chemicals, diversification of agriculture towards high-value crops and other ventures, higher price realization by farmers, creation of additional employment opportunities for cultivators in the non-farm rural sector to supplement the income of farm households, and several other well-chosen reforms-oriented measures. Special emphasis is being laid on taking forward the ongoing agricultural marketing reforms to facilitate and incentivize the private sector investment in setting up rural markets and farm-related logistics infrastructure, including cold chains. In one of the documents, the Niti Aayog has shortlisted 5 broad aspects of agriculture that need immediate attention to lift the economic status of millions of farm families. These are also the basic issues which need to be addressed to prepare the ground for an evergreen revolution. The first point deals with productivity in terms of per hectare output of farm ventures. The present average productivity, despite remarkable spurt since the Green Revolution, compares poorly with that in many other countries. Besides, there are also large regional variations in the crop yields within the country. Bridging these gaps can go a long way in laying the foundation of the evergreen revolution. This requires development of new cost-effective technology and transferring it to the poor farmers, besides empowering them financially to put this into practice. Secondly, most farmers at present do not get remunerative prices for the crops due to the limited reach of the minimum support prices mechanism across the farm community in different parts of the country. 1040 वर्ड्स है, 80 की स्पीड है.